Kevin, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
So this podcast is your brainchild, so are you happy to be here right now?
I am.
Yeah.
So more so happy that it's happening.
Good. So talk to me about this podcast. Why did you want this to happen? The idea that I think you kind of had was, hey, let's show the, behind the scenes of the Shepard team. So talk to me about where you got this idea.
So, it's nothing earth-shattering. It's truly, I think people are interesting, right? And you've heard me say before, whether it's, the Kirby Smart, you're a leader, you're not, or the concept that you surround yourself with people that'll help you win.
What about Nick Saban?
Yeah, listen, he's fine. He's probably the best ever. But you surround yourself with people that help you win.
Yeah.
But that comes in all forms, right?
Right.
And so a resume doesn't talk about it. An operations leader's ability to produce a show doesn't talk about them as a person.
Right.
So we don't know everything that we should about the people that we're partnering with.
And it's hard to convey that in a blog.
It
or, a one-sheeter or something. So
because you're asking them questions about what they do for a living, not their life.
Right. Exactly.
And the life is actually what makes them successful at what they're doing here, right?
Yep.
How does that drive them to be better here?
Yep. No, I agree. All right, so you're the CEO.
Sure.
Right? You're responsible for everyone at Shepard, so you got a big job.
Sure.
What do you love about your job? What makes it challenging? Tell us some of your secrets.
So what I love about my job is the challenge, right?
Yeah.
And so what I just said about the people, if you compile a great team, your job becomes easier, right?
Yep.
And my job is to make sure that we're delivering on the promise to our customers, to our partners, to the bank, to the ESOP, to all of those things. And it isn't me sitting behind a desk delivering it. It's me working with great people to make it happen. And that's what I love, right? So how do I surround myself with those people that make it easy to go win?
Yep. No, I love that. You mentioned ESOP. That's not on my list of questions, but
Right.
We get a lot of questions around ESOP.
Yep.
So let's just talk a little bit about why does that matter to the people beyond Shepard, and how does it benefit them a little bit, and just give a little education on ESOP in general.
So so ESOP in general is how the company is owned, right? So right now, Shepard, the associates own 30%, and Carl owns 70%, and that that will change as he gets closer to the next phase of his career. So we eventually go 100% ESOP, and that just means that the employees have a vested interest in the success of the company.
Right.
So to oversimplify, it's another retirement plan. It isn't actual stock, as in you can trade it like you would on Wall Street, but it acts the same way. You get shares, and they have value, and that creates the sweat equity that people put into this company. How does it benefit people outside the company? It honestly, when you go to those ESOP conferences or you get education on them, it isn't something that is just straight up in your face. Oh, this is a benefit, but what you do have is invested people in making sure that the product is great, the service is great, the deliverable is great. Everything that we put out into the ether, our associates have a vested interest in making sure it's the best it can be.
Yeah. No, I think on my side, from the marketing perspective, I think that ESOP helps to drive that service that we prioritize. With that, we talked a little bit about service, talked a little bit about people. I imagine if I ask you the question, what do you think makes Shepard different, you would say our service and our people?
It is. When I did the greeting up there, right, I talked about, everybody's part of a love story, right? And it's you're a perfect example, right? Why Why, when you had the opportunity to change your career during COVID, why
Yeah.
did you come back, right? I mean, that's the question, and that is the sentiment from all of the associates, right? So ESOP is just a formalized version of our culture, right? People were waiting to come back,
Yep.
and it wasn't to it was to come back to the industry, but it was to come back to Shepard, right? We
Right.
had so many people who were unfortunately laid off or looked for something else during COVID, that when we had the opportunity, they came back, right?
Right.
So that says something about us, right? And so it says something about our commitment to the associate and their commitment to the customer, and just the way we work as an ecosystem as a whole.
No, I agree. I mean, I am a living example of that coming back. So, um, let's talk about a little bit of Shepard's future,
Sure.
right? So we are doing a lot of the business plans and sharing those with everybody. So what are you kind of looking forward to with just this next version of Shepard? I know we have a lot of conversations around just the narrative that we're telling, and I think we have a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline with technology, just and continuing to evolve our service offerings. So, when you wake up, what are you excited about?
So the great news is because I've surrounded myself with a team that's amazing and very forward thinking, the future isn't hard to, sort of visualize, because it's always there in front of your face. It's just, how do we sustainably, scalably grow
Right.
as a company, which we're going to continue to grow. Pre-COVID, it was 10% a year, and
Yeah.
every year it got 10% harder, because now you're adding more revenue to it. But it's our ability to grow certainly is based on the industry trends and things like that, and we are seeing that the dynamic is shifting a little bit in how revenue is generated for us, our partners, for the show organizers, etc. So the future of Shepard goes in tandem with the future of this industry as a whole. We're going to continue to look at service offerings. We're going to continue to be the best at what we do well right now, and augment that with new things and future growth.
Awesome. I probably shouldn't ask this question, but everyone asks it. I know you've gone around the country and done town halls, and
Yep.
people talk about growth. And so, curious, everyone's always wondering, so acquisition?
Sure.
What's your kind of take on, you mentioned 10%. I know we've had some conversations around acquisition don't always mean that there's sacrifices to that as
Right.
well. So kind of share a little bit of your thoughts there on the acquisition thing. Are we gonna?
So we've acquired in the past,
Yeah.
and it's helped us grow specifically on the AV side. And prior to me getting here, we acquired some smaller contractors, which helped launch our Baltimore branch, etc. So acquisition is certainly part of the formula. However, we also need to look at where our customers are going, right?
Right.
And what that need is to determine what the smart acquisition is at the time. Now, from an investment perspective, the next big thing on the horizon is that ESOP transaction. So,
Yeah.
Going 100% ESOP comes first, and then it's how do we then create value for the shareholders in the company?
Yep.
Employee owners, not shareholders.
Love it. All right, now we're gonna have some fun. Kevin,
Okay.
what do you eat for lunch every day?
Berries,
Berries.
grapes, cherries. Yeah.
And your favorite snack is
Berries, grapes, cherries, popcorn.
popcorn.
Yes.
Talk to us about your favorite popcorn flavor. Don't you like kettle?
No, that's gross.
It's gross.
I don't
thought
need
you
it.
liked a flavor.
No.
No, you
I,
just
I
like
think
classic?
I like movie theater popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen
if
that.
if you try to mix sweet and salty, I don't.
You're
don't
not
get
for
behind
it.
it.
Are you a fan of Skinny Pop?
It's all right.
It's all right, not your favorite.
If that's what's there, that's what's there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, because of the amount of meetings that happen these days, it's like
Yeah,
whatever's
you
in
just
my
need a little
fridge
nibble.
or whatever on my desk is what
Is
I
what?
take.
Yeah. All right, so I also heard
Yeah.
from someone close to you
Uh-oh.
that you like karaoke. You know who told me that?
I've been known to karaoke in my past.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shut it down?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do all right.
What's your favorite song? Don't Stop Believin'?
No. Honestly, the bulk of my karaoke revolved around boy band stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
a little in sync.
Yes, and I would primarily do it to embarrass people. So,
okay. Yeah.
But it was in my younger years.
That's another side of you that I did not know.
There's I mean, I don't know when the line was drawn, but there was certainly a point in my life, and it's probably when my daughter was born, that I
You scaled back the karaoke?
And everything that led up to the
that,
karaoke and happened after the karaoke, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, there's, I don't know. When my daughter was born, it was certainly a change in my life, and change for better, but it was certainly a pivoting point.
I love it. Well, those are all the questions I have, Kevin. Thank you for being here today. This was fun. We'll do it again.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, here we go. I knew this was going to happen.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm scared.
So, you asked me about this podcast, right? What are you trying to get out of this?
Yeah, I think, my job is to tell the Shepard story, right? And I think a big part of that is our people, to your point. And it's exactly kind of what your idea is. I can't convey that in a blog, and we have our employee spotlights, and those are great, but you can only do so much justice to a person with written words. And so I think having the anecdotal conversation to, really be able to get to know our people and also where Shepard's going and our brand. I'm really proud of the brand that we've built and how we're evolving, and I think everyone should learn more about it. So hopefully this podcast is an avenue for people to see why I believe Shepard is so great.
Okay. So we talked about you coming back.
Yep. Great. I know where this is going.
Tell me why you came back.
So I came back to Shepard for a multitude of reasons. I was here in 2018 and loved my time there. I thought had a huge appetite for growing my career, probably to a fault sometimes. I want everything now. And so I had a different experience with COVID in terms of it was a blessing from a career standpoint, because I got the opportunity to leave and go to a corporate business where I really got to learn the tried and truths of marketing. But naturally, the larger you go with a corporate business, there's going to be more and more red tape. And I saw that there was an opportunity here at Shepard, and I consider myself lucky. I feel like I won the lottery in a way with this opportunity at Shepard, because it was, COVID was going on and we were in a rebuilding phase. And so there was just this huge opportunity to make everything better. And I had this skill set that I know I could do it. Yeah. I always say now, looking back, it's funny. I'm like, if I knew everything that I was going to have to tackle, I would have been so scared. Yeah. But, kind of just came in a little blind to what needed to be done. And I think that was the best thing. And so came back for the opportunity, been fortunate to be able to grow a little bit, and that's exactly why. You took a risk on me, and, I feel forever indebted for that. I know you say that...
Debt's paid.
Debt's paid, but no, seriously, I would say that the opportunity to grow my career, the culture, and just, I feel like I can be my authentic self.
Right. So when I hired you the first time, right, I sort of laid out that I didn't really have a job for you, so I'm going to pay you to show up, and then we'll figure it out from there. And then when you came back, the opportunity was endless, right? So how did you figure out how to prioritize stuff? Like, I mean, that's probably your strong suit, in that you find something that needs to be done, but like, how do you do that? What makes you tick like that? I
think the best thing I did when I first came back was just listen, scheduling meetings with, every person at Shepard that represented everything, and just really analyzing too, based on the feedback, because everyone believes what they're saying is true. Yeah. So I came in unbiased. There was really easy things that, we could tackle immediately, and so I think it was this balance of let's have some quick wins along with that like bigger picture initiative, if you will. And so I also think being a marketer, you have to have a really high level of emotional intelligence that I leverage to guide how I strategize for Shepard. And so I don't think marketing is that hard, because what do the people want? If you were our customer, what would they need to know? And so I kind of just lead our strategy with emotions, if you will, of, okay, this is a complicated thing that doesn't make sense to me, so let's make it uncomplicated so that our customer can understand it. So
last question. So, your and I sort of working relationship is that I trust you, to do the right thing for the company, et cetera. Yep. So with that comes a lot of opportunity where I don't say no.
Yeah.
You just, I say okay. Yep. And you go.
Yep.
Does that create just a ton of stress, because your opinion is what's happening, right? And it's hard.
I think I'm responsible for the entire organization's narrative. So also leaning on other leaders and, operations or exhibitor services. Like, I want to lean on the subject matter expert to be a partner with as well. So I never feel like I'm alone. And then also just having an amazing team to bounce ideas off of. And I think one thing I appreciate about you is that level of trust. And I think and I can confidently say that when I'm making a decision, we have done a significant amount of research and we have a plan backed by it. So we're never just like doing this because we want to go with the wind, right? Yeah. We're doing this because it was strategic. It might not be perfect and we might fail or we might be wrong, but at the end of the day, we'll learn from it if that's the case. And so I don't feel overwhelmed with the the space you create to just kind of go.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Captain of the softball team.
Yeah.
Do you think that helped you in work?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I always say that like sports has, every lesson I learned in sports has translated into how I work. I always thought like when I was starting my career, I was so behind because I've dedicated my life to softball and, being a leader there and trying to be the best, college athlete out there and the fastest and all of those things. And what I've learned now just in being a leader and all of those things is so many of those skills are transferable. And I had the benefit and the pleasure of learning those early in my life because it's no different. We're a team here. So you got to work alongside people that you may or may not like, but you're working towards a common goal. And I think that has helped a lot with confidence and working alongside people, leading, having empathy. And that was a really hard time in my life, but I'm grateful for those challenges because I think I'm a better leader for it. So
it's great. Listen, this is a great idea. You asked me about this podcast. I'm a firm believer that everybody has a story, right? That makes them what they are at home, what they are at work. And the work-life balance is this statement or this phrase that's out there, and it isn't so much a separation, but it's acknowledging the existence of both and where it's black, where it's white, the little bit of gray between. And that's, the story's important of how people process that. So as you're doing these interviews, everybody's got a story, and it isn't all Shepard. I'm interested in watching these to see what makes them great here. And it isn't just because I pay them, right? It's because they're great in their life.
Yep.
And it transfers here.
Well, I'll make sure to mix up some questions. This was fun. Thank you, Kevin,
thank
for
you.
being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.